It won't surprise you that I want to talk a bit about the president.
Yeah, sure.
He, in a tweet today, described the pressure he's facing as a witch hunt.
Okay.
Is it a witch hunt, or is this the fourth estate doing its job, holding public officials accountable?
A little bit of a witch hunt. I mean, I think the fourth estate has the right to do a lot of the things that it's doing, but I think that one of the problems
And I ask you this because I think you have a sophisticated understanding of the press.
So again, I just want to talk very candidly. I think that the administration could be doing a better job of softening the antagonism with the press. But I think that the president has made a reasonably fair assessment that most of the press is biased against him. And now there was a Pew Research thing that came out that 88% of the stories on the administration and the president himself are in fact negative. So, you know, if it was 50%, you say, okay, there's less media bias. But at 88%, you know, I think he's a little upset about that. And I think he has some justification. Having said that, again, my personal opinion is soften up with the press. I don't get a lot of great press sometimes. I get sometimes good press. At the end of the day, you have to take it like a man. But when I don't get good press, I do like to hold the journalists accountable.
Of course, as I would expect.
Even Bloomberg journalists. Erik.
I'm aware of that. Anthony, people see you as a surrogate for the president.
Okay.
Is it getting harder to be a surrogate for the president?
Absolutely not, because I believe in him. He's a great guy. He's been a good friend to me. And I think he's got the right ideas. And you may have heard me speak yesterday here.
I did.
In my introductory remarks, there is a systemic crisis going on in the country as it relates to income equality and depressed wages for middle class and lower middle class families. And so the president is a champion of that. And again, people may like him or dislike him, but I certainly like him. And he's the guy that can prosecute that agenda right now in 2017. And so whether you're Democrat or Republican, I don't care who you are, he's our president. We need him to succeed, and we have to figure out a way to get the right policies in place so those people can do well as well.
You also said in those remarks to kick off this conference.
I'm also doing great. Look at your shirt and tie combination. I mean, you're doing phenomenally well. I happen to be doing pretty well, but we've got to focus on people that are doing less well than us. You know that, and I know that, and he's doing that. So let's help him do that.
You said in those remarks yesterday to kick off this conference, you were very specific. You said you were offered a job in the administration on January the 12th.
I was.
And you said that job didn't materialize.
Yeah.
Who made the offer, and what happened?
Was that a pretty good way to describe it? Because that's exactly what happened. So Reince Priebus made the offer to me on the 26th floor of Trump Tower. It was written offer and acceptance. And so pursuant to that, I sold my business. It didn't materialize, so someone would have to ask the administration or Reince Priebus specifically as to why.
Somebody, I presume, gave you an explanation.
Well, I think it was reported in the paper that they said that my sale to the Chinese gave them a pause. And so if it was an offer and acceptance, then it was politically then taken away from me. It certainly wasn't ethically taken away from me. I didn't do anything wrong from an ethical perspective.
I wasn't suggesting that.
No, I understand that. But some people did in the media. And so that wasn't the case. I hired Jamie Gorelick. I used Wachtell Lipton. I used one of our friends, Greg Fleming, to sell the business. And so everything was done fairly and appropriately, but this is political.
Well, now hang on a second. That being the case, I know something about you. I know that you have a code of conduct. I know that honor is important to you. Your word is your word, and you expect the same of other people. If someone breaks a promise, if you will, and Reince was acting on behalf of the president here, how do you feel as loyal today as you did then? That doesn't fit with Anthony's code of conduct.
Very good question. And so, unfortunately, the reality of our world is that the political landscape is very different from the business landscape. If you and I entered into a contract like that, there's a level of detrimental reliance. In the political world, you serve at the discretion of the president and his staff. And so for whatever political reason they made the decision not to have that job materialize, then that's their discretion. And so what I said yesterday, I hold true. I take it like a man. I'm okay with it. Am I super happy with it? No, of course not. I'm obviously disappointed. I sold my business in order to serve the president. But in a political situation, you have to recognize that there are vagaries that are outside your control. And Erik, there are vagaries that are unbusinesslike. Again, you give me a written offer letter, or you sign a contract with Bloomberg to perform on this network, you're expecting them to hold themselves to it. In the political world, it's very different, and it would be a shame to be a whiner or a complainer about that. So me, I'm a man-up sort of a guy. I think the president's going to do a very good job, and I want to be supportive of him.
Anthony, you see and are aware of everything that we see and are aware of, and possibly more. What would it take for you to lose faith in or loyalty to the president?
That's a really good question. Whatever that is, I haven't seen it yet. It's sort of one of those theoretical questions. I think where people start to lose faith is based on intentions. And so I think people can make a lot of mistakes, and clearly the American presidency could be arguably the most stressful. It's the most powerful job in the world, could also be the most stressful. And so some things that are mistaken orientation, I think we got to give them slack for. I think if intentions changed, and I don't want to say Mr. Trump because I really believe his intentions are pure and he's got very good intentions. But if someone was sitting in that seat that was malevolent or had bad intentions, then I think that the reasonable course of action then would be to change course and go against that person. But the president, I traveled with him on the campaign. I spent countless hours with him at Trump Tower. He's a very good person. And this is the one thing that I find frustrating, I think he finds frustrating, that his message is getting distorted through the media prism. He's less ideological than most of the people in the media think, and you sort of know that.